everybody. I'm super excited to be here today and to see you all. It's a very special thing for me. And today we talk about how to live on other websites. And also we will go deep into Chrome extensions and text manipulations. And let's start to live on other websites. What do I mean? So you can think about it like when you want to travel the world and you have low budget, then you can couch surf. That's a great solution. So it's also similar to living on other websites. And we will see this as a metaphor throughout our talk. Okay, so I'm Michal Shuvi Ganani. That's new. I'm newlywed. I'm also a full-stack developer at AI21 Labs in the Wordtune team. I have a BSc at computational linguistics from Tel Aviv University, and I really love NLP. I'm also a singer, like just said, and I also like to do weight training at the gym. Okay, AI21 Labs, that's my company. It's a super unique and hybrid company. On the one hand, we do AI, and we have an AI research lab that train and build huge models. And on the other side, we are also a B2C company. We have 3 different products. I'm on the Wordtune product. Our mission is to redefine the way people read and write, and we do it by making the machine a thought partner to humans. We believe that machine can help us be a better version of ourselves. So we'll start from the motivation. Why would we want to live on other websites? And then about Chrome extensions, we see a cool demo. We talk about challenges. And then we'll dive into the web API and how we can manipulate text inside the web. Okay, so starting with the motivation, I'll present Wordtune. Wordtune is a product that helps you express yourself better. It's for those moments when you write something, you feel it's not quite right, and you want to make it better, like someone that will assist you to rewrite what you just wrote. And that's the key for it. Basically, a user selects a text. It could be all over the internet, and then you click on some button, and you see alternative ways to rephrase your sentence. And when you select one, it replaces inside your text editor like you did that paste. And this is important because we will go back to Wordtune throughout the talk. So like you saw, we want to work in many different places. We want to work on Gmail and Facebook, and that's a very different platform. Like we do it in a very different places. So how can we do it? How can we support all of these platforms? But wait a second, they're all also on the browser. So why not use Chrome extensions? That could be like super great solution for us. So Chrome extension is a small app that you can install into your browser, and it will change its functionality. You can add some features, and you can also modify the way the browser acts, all to make the user happy. We have more of the advantages. One, it's very common. A lot of people use Chrome, and it will expose your app very fast. We also have the DOM access, like the page DOM. We will see it's super important to our goal. And of course, we can develop in our loved and popular React and TypeScript, JavaScript. About the architecture. So Chrome extensions consist of many different parts, and you can choose what you want. One is mandatory, and it's the manifest. That's just the idea of your app, permissions and scripts and so on. You register there. And we will focus mainly on the content script because that's the key to live on other websites. So the content script. It's a JavaScript code that we can inject into any page the browser loads. So these scripts run like any other script on the page, like the web page has. And it can read the DOM, it can modify it, it can do like you in this page, absolutely. And of course, that script could also be a React app. Why not? So how powerful is that? You can actually have your app in every other website, any other website on everywhere. It's crazy. And that's also our couch surfer, if we remember him from last talk. So Wordtune, why we decided to leave another website. You saw that we live inside the text. We need to read it, we need to modify it, to change it. So we must live inside the web page. And that's why we chose this solution of content script inside Chrome extensions. Okay. Here's you can look at that chart to see all the different components and how they interact in the extension. And one small note is that not all Chrome extension must have content script. They can do a bunch of different things, from tab managing, and also have your favorites there, and so on. So our choice of working with content script, it's pretty unique, and it's something that you probably won't see in any extension. And we do it very intensively, like you were about to see. Okay, so that's our time for the demo. A few words about the demo. We're about to see how we can inject our code into some website, and also to modify the elements inside it. So first of all, if you look at the project, we have a build. That's why we have that webpack here. We also have the content, our main focus. And inside the manifest, we can see that we registered our content script inside the bundle. That's important. That's the way to start and inject your code. We have our app. It's already written for you. It's a bit of a surprise, but we will do the stuff that we came here to hear about. First of all, we want to create some container. We call it Easy. Our app called Easy. We will see soon why. Okay, and then we want, our goal is to inject our code under the body. In React, you can inject your code to any element of a page, but in our case, we want to be as general as we can. So we just call the document and the body, and then we add our container as a child to it. Cool, that's nice. And we're also on React 18, then we will need to start it like any React 18 app. So we need that root. Okay. With our container. And now we want to render the app. And we have it already here. Cool. So right now, we injected our app. First, let's build. In the build, we create a new bundle. And now, to start your extension, you must go to the extension manager and open the developer mode and also call your build file. Let's see how we just injected our code, and we see the element that we just added. So here is the body. It has nothing in it. But when we refresh our page, cool, we have something here. It's a button, and we can also see it inside. I hope it's big enough. Yeah, you see it inside our app. So that's pretty cool. Now every page that we will load will have our app. But this app should do something. So let's go into it. And like it says here, we want to add all the text elements and to do something that is a surprise on them. So now we can have a text element. So we want to do this document and query selector. And this is very much like low-level HTML. You can have a paragraph and span, and we want some different headlines. You can go forever, and lastly, I don't know, some text. Okay, so we got all of our elements. These are basically the elements of the page, not only ours, and we want to run it as a function. Cool, let's build again, so I won't make a mistake. Doesn't hot reloaded, so we need to do it ourselves. And okay, then we see we have our code, and once we click on it, boom, Israel Cohen, whoever is not Israeli and don't know him, it's a singer in Israel called Israel Cohen. He were at the Eurovision and sang Abani B. It's the B language. For every vowel, we add B. And so React became React something, and Get becomes Gebet, and things like that. If you want to practice your B language, just download my extension. And you can also see it in a lot of text. It will look boom. Cool. So we can go back to the presentation now. Cool, so our couch surfer moved to his new house, and now we can travel on Amsterdam, I don't know. But sometimes when you have roommates in the couch surf, you don't have to get along with all of them, and also extensions, they are not getting along with all of their page mates, or whatever you want to call it. So we'll talk about the challenges. To develop an extension, you need to have a deep understanding in DOM and in web, and how events are triggered and where they trigger. And also, you need to understand how you load the elements and move them, and like you need to get the deep understanding of web development like you ever did before. We will see a few examples right now. First of all, when you add code to your extension, you see different stuff. Like in this case, you see the buttons are different, and why is that? It's because when you inject your script, we said you leave as part of the DOM, so why not getting its CSS classes and share them? So that's what's happened here. Our app became some kind of chameleon. On each page, the button will look different. And also the other way around. The original looks good, and with the extension we broke the site, it looks awful. So how can we solve this? First of all, you can think of some naive solution. You can have the class names, like they have a unique name. You can add some prefix, for example, easy button. We have that prefix for every class name. And that will help us to define it differently. But you know that sometimes people also implement the div class of the CSS, and that will not work. So we need something a bit better. And that's the Shadow DOM. It's a browser tool that can help you to build a component-based apps. And it's encapsulation. It's like the main key here and the most important concept. And Shadow DOM provides a way to attach hidden and isolated DOM and CSS to an element. And the style rules don't leak, and they stay in their bubble, just like Bart here, walking on his word. Events. Like any other page, we can listen to its events and act according to them, and have conflicts, of course, with the page. For one example, which is very classic, is to do keyboard shortcuts. We want to, on Command K, to open our Ether app, and the page wants to search, to open the search modal. We want to do only our, and we want to not open the search modal. So we have two event handlers and one event. Then who wins? Like, we need to understand the basics before. We need to know how events are moving inside our page, any page in the browser. So let's look at this example. We have a div, and you click it inside some page. When you click on div, its event bubbles up to its ancestors chain and calling all handlers on its way. But you probably use this phase without knowing its name. Its name is bubbling phase, and you do it regularly. If it's in JavaScript or in React, it's the default behavior. But there's some surprising phase before the bubbling phase, and it's the capturing phase. Why it's surprising? Because when you click on some div, the event starts on the document and go down. Like, that's weird. I click the div, why the event comes from the body? But that's our truth. And when we click on that div, you can register an event using capture true, and React has different function for it. Okay, so overall, we start with the capturing phase, the event go down, then the target phase, and the bubbling phase back up. Okay, so back to our goal. We want to run only our app window. So we have the event listener on the bubbling phase in most pages, and we want to do it on the capturing phase, so we will be first. Cool. Now our event handler run first, but why the event handler of the page wouldn't run? Well, it will run, so we need to stop it. And there's a function that calls stop propagation. It stops the bubbling, like the moving of the event on its tree. When we call it, it likes delete all of these links. And in that way, we stop the page from running his event handler. Cool. Another example that you all probably ran into, also in developing React apps, it's when you have some div that does something and a button inside. In our case, clicking on the div will select the suggestion and replace the text and do a bunch of stuff. But when someone clicks on copy, he wants it only to be copied to his clipboard. So clicking on the copy button, the event will keep the bubbling phase and go up, but we don't want it. We don't want the event handler to run. So again, we need to use the stop propagation and don't let the event handler run. The event didn't happen, and that can cause us problems, but for our goal, it's what we need. Another weird example, very weird. You see, if you click on our modal, then it closes the email. What happens here? One can think it's related to the event bubbling, like maybe we click and the event bubbles up and somehow the Gmail also closed, but that's not the case here because they live on different branches on the tree. Like this, they both under the body, they are not have the relation of the bubbling. So here's a bit different. Let's understand how mouse events work. The first, when you click on something, an event called mouse down is triggered, then mouse up, and at the end, the click event. That's also a bit surprising. So here, when we click, you see that I click slowly, then you see like our modal closed first, and then the second modal closed. So you can guess that we're using our mouse down on our modal when you escape, and then it calls the click or any other event on the Gmail modal. That's part of like, we conflict with pages. Maybe we put this down, like mouse down, because some other page did some weird things. So you see our struggle. Okay, so our last topic, but it's not least, like we're going to deep dive into how Wordtune works and what is text editing on the browser and how you can manipulate it. I'll try to give you a sense of how our work looks daily. So where do users write? Yeah, like which text editors exist throughout the web? First, we have the text area. It's a simple one. It's mostly for using forms. plain text area. And that's the code, only this HTML tag, and that's it, only the text. And we have something that is more common throughout the web, and it calls content editable. That's an HTML. You see, like you have this special property of the content editable true of HTML, and inside you have HTML like any other page, but that gives us the power to do all of the rich text editing, images and colors, whatever. And in the internet, they have many, many different ways, different implementations. And the last one is Canvas, like it's drawing things like Google Docs. They draw your text, they don't even have HTML there. So you see we have many different stuff here. It's all messy. You need to work very hard in order to make all of these work. We have an API. We have the web API in the browser to deal with it, but it's not good enough. We will see here examples of how we do it. Like we need to work hard on how to do all of that. For example, let's start, sorry, something happened because I downloaded it. It's right here, Get Selection API. First of all, when you saw Wordtune, you need to select text and get the text of what you have in the text editor, and also the start and end indexes. The text area, pretty easy. It has properties, get the value, which is the text, and the indexes. It's pretty straightforward. But in content editable, what we see here is that because it's composed of elements and HTML, when you get the text using inner text, you get what you see. Hey, today's talk is about, etc. And after that, when you want to get the selection range, like the indexes themselves, you get type caption for image. What? So what basically happens here is when you're getting the selection, it also gets all the DOM inside it. It's not only the text that you see. So we need to map between what we see and what there is in the DOM, and we need to clean a lot. And there isn't any web API we can use that will be also very straightforward. And Canvas, don't get me started to talk about it. It's a mess. Okay, replace text. This is our second API. You saw that after a user selects a suggestion, we replace the text, and it should be seamless. Like the user did paste, when he does Command Z, it will go back, and the selection, only the selection will be changed, not anything else. And also, his board should look very clean and nice. So first, we have something that the web API, like the browser, gives us, calls exact command. You can use the type of insert text and the new text that you want to replace. And that sounds perfect because, okay, it deletes the selection and you put the text. But, of course, all good stuff are deprecated and we cannot use it, and we have struggles in our lives. So there is the keyboard API. It is here to replace the exact command in all of the things that related to the clipboard. Listen to paste, or getting the paste text, or even influence it. But we did a hacky thing. We used the paste event. Like here, we created a clipboard event with paste, and we put the data inside of it, and we dispatched that event to an element. So again, we need to bend every rule of the API to make it work, and that's very hard for us as developers. It's not like your app, you can do whatever you want with it. And of course, that's also, it's not working on every content editable. Like I said, it's very different. We have different implementation throughout the web. Facebook do it different than Gmail, and they each have their own behaviors. Okay, so yeah, that's to sum up how we work hard and we try to get ourselves out in every page. Something that you fix on Gmail will broke Twitter, and that's very need to make us. We hit a lot of walls because of that. So to wrap up, go and build extensions. You can think of many things, like we saw only text manipulation or things about text, but you can take it and do whatever you want with it. You can do maybe ad block, or you can have price matching software, or things that you feel like you do daily on the internet and like will take less if you had some extension that you click and that's it. Then take it home and try to think of things that will make your life easier or your company. And we also saw that text manipulation is something that is not straightforward. And the browser doesn't help us with it. So each time you develop an editor, you will run into it. You see content editables aren't perfect. And thank you. That was it. I'm here for every question.